What is up, dudes? Lady dudes, welcome back to Just Nuts Guys. We're here to talk about YCS Dusseldorf and YCS Dusseldorf 2. If you didn't hear over the weekend, apparently the attendance for YCS Dusseldorf was so through the roof that they couldn't even hold everybody in the main event area, so they had to literally separate it off and have like a mini YCS separate from that one. So we actually have two different winners for YCS Dusseldorf 1 and 2. So the way they did it is they pretty much just took 500 of the like almost 3,000 total players and separated them off into a mini tournament where they only had top 16 instead of top 64, which they had in the other one, because there was 2,500 players. They needed to do top 64 because otherwise they're just top 32 wouldn't be enough. And they just had a couple. I think they still had 9 rounds of Swiss, and then they cut to top 16, which is still a good. That's a pretty good sample size to figure out who the best duelists, which is cool. And yeah, so I have the top cuts here, and then we can jump to finalists and stuff like that. So for YCS Dusseldorf 2, let's start with this because it's the smaller one. We saw not a ton. I mean, it's only top 16, so you can't. How much variation can you really have? We have 7 different decks here, which is actually still pretty good. We see here we have 4 Salamangreat decks. Not really surprising. We knew the attendance for Salamangreats was going to be insane. We see Sky Striker with 4 decks as well. That's actually kind of surprising because, I mean, I know Sky Striker has like a solid Salamangreat matchup, but overall, it's still surprising to see Striker match Salamangreat, even in this tournament in a top 16 like this. Then we see 2 Trickstar, 2 Thunder Dragon. This is probably the surprise. Maybe not even this. Maybe for this mini tournament, seeing Thunder Dragon tied with Trickstar and only half as many slots as Salamangreat and Sky Striker. I think a lot of people would have guessed that Thunder Dragon were the deck to beat, and Salamangreat and Sky Striker were the closest things to beating it, but not quite there, and we see that that's actually not the case. Thunder Dragon is actually not as good as everybody thinks it is relative to that, or maybe we're seeing like a side decking craze for Thunder Dragon just because it is that scary. Like maybe it's the same thing with Altergeist, where Altergeist, they got a pot of extravagance, so everybody was fearful that like Altergeist were already top 3 decks and give them extravagance and maybe they skyrocket to being the best deck, so everybody sides decks like crazy for Altergeist, and then Altergeist can't compete because every deck just has so much side deck crap to just crap all over Altergeist. And maybe we kind of see that here with Thunder Dragon. Everybody's so fearful of Thunder Dragons that everybody's just siding in hard for them. So it's really hard for them to get through games 2 and 3 with side decks just tailored to take them on. They move to Danger. I'm not sure if this is supposed to be like Orcus Danger or just a pure Danger, Danger Dark Warrior. I don't know. But it's only 1 deck. 1 Lunalite, which is cool to see. I do like seeing 1 Lunalite in there, showing the deck even after winning the YCS didn't just drop off the map. It's still relevant, which is cool. And then 1 True Draco. This is something we've seen. And we'll see in the next one. But really cool here. The guy who won was playing Sky Striker. So Sky Strikers actually finally win an event. I know it's the small mini YCS Dusseldorf, but Sky Strikers do finally get the win. It had been, I don't even know, have Sky Strikers won any YCSs, or maybe they just haven't won in a while and people were questioning if they're really the best deck if they can't even win a YCS. But anyway, we're going to move to the Big Daddy, YCS Dusseldorf. The original, with this one had top 64 because we had almost 2,500 players in this one, which is absolutely insane. And then we look at this. This breakdown is insane. Look at Salamangreat to 28 tops. We'll start from the top and work our way down. 28 out of 64. That's almost 50%. Obviously, this is inflated because of all the reasons Salamangreats have been picked up. It's more budget. The core, at least for the deck, is pretty budget. Like if you don't play Impermanence and you don't play some other cards, the deck's pretty budget. Even with like Sunlight Wolf being like almost $10 and Lady Debug. If you were smart and you got them when they were $2, then you're in. But the deck's still still pretty cheap. It allows the budget players to come out and compete at a high level. Ash Blossom is much cheaper. They don't have to drop the extra, $20 for each copy of those, which is really awesome. So we're seeing Salamangreat skyrocket here. Thunder Dragons here at 10 and Sky Striker at 9. This is actually really interesting to me. Like I said before, Thunder Dragons are probably called by most people the deck to beat, and we see that now it's going to be Salamangreats. We thought there was going to be some sort of weird rotation, triangle, circle of power between these three decks. We thought that Salamangreats kind of have a decent Thunder Dragon matchup. None of these are auto wins, by the way. Altergeist has a good Thunder Dragon matchup, but the other ones do not. It's not like that. It's not good. It's like you'd probably give it in the favor of Salamangreat against Thunder Dragons. You'd probably give Thunder Dragons the edge against Striker, and you'd probably give Striker a little bit of the edge against Salamangreats. But that is not true, and maybe this is just purely representation with how many Salamangreat players there were. Maybe that's why we see this here, but still, 28 to 10 to 9, that's pretty crazy. We also see 2 Danger Orcust players. Danger Orcust actually winning the entire event. Shout out to Thomas Rose getting his, I believe, 3rd YCS win. Not even top win. He did it with BAs, and I think he just decided that Orcust is actually just and a lot of people have made this reference that Orcust is kind of like better BAs, and as much as you want to love BAs, and they're classic, and they're cool, and they're fun, Orcust is just the new aged, better Burning Abyss, with less restrictions on how board presence and how they don't destroy themselves and stuff. So Danger Orcust, really, really powerful. Do not count them out ever. People thought that this deck wouldn't even be playable until Dark Neostorm and us getting the new Xyz monster, the Infernity Barrier card that gets you advantage after it's gone and stuff. But no, not the case. It's still competitive now. We see 2 Crusadia. I'm guessing this is Crusadia Guard Dragon. I've played a couple of these decks online. I don't think the people are playing knew how to use them, because I think I played 3 and I won all 3 convincingly. But I know when this deck pops off, it can set up just insane boards. We don't see Pendulum Magicians here, but it could be here. We'll get there in a sec. 2 Subterra guys. I know one of them made it to at least top 8. I don't know if he made it further than that, but I did see his top 16 feature match, and with a nice 2-0 and a crazy top deck game. I believe that was Kantari. But glad to see Subterra's there, and I think we might just see here that Thunder... while Strikers are obviously the best straight-up control deck. Salamangreats are a combo control variant, a combo of the two, but Strikers probably the best control deck, but Subterras are probably the best back row deck, kind of edging Altergeist out of the field. Then we see 2 True Draco, which is cool. That's what I was saying, is that I heard that people said that at least in Europe, they didn't know elsewhere, but they said at least in Europe, True Dracos have been getting on the rise. They have some decent matchups. Obviously against Thunder Dragons is pretty tough, but against Salamangreats, they do the grind game really well. They generate a lot of advantage, and they just remove your stuff as you go. So Thunder Dragons can really give Salamangreats a good push. There, and then we do see the 1 Lunalight again, and then we have 8 others. I don't know this. I haven't found them yet, but I couldn't find them. I looked for a good, 10, 15 minutes. I could not find out what these last 8 decks are. Hopefully there's an Altergeist in here, because I don't want Altergeist to just die forever. I would like to see them, jump in a top cut every once in a while. Hopefully there's a Trickstar player in here. Maybe a Paleo would be cool. I want to see what these 8 decks are, because they're 8 1-of decks, which means our top 64 included, what is this? That's 8. That included 16 different decks in our top 64. And that's with one deck getting 28 spots. So really diverse, really awesome format. I don't know how you could ever disagree with that statement right there. But this has just been one crazy event. We see Orcust and Striker taking the events down. And I just think this is awesome. I think you always worry, especially when we're kind of convinced we're in an awesome format, and I think we see a ton of Salamangreats, and I think that's scary to ever see a deck get that kind of top cut percentage. But this has got to be inflated, right? We might see people flock to Salamangreats, but at some point it's just going to be people are going to jump off because the excitement's down. It's not a week after the structure deck came out, and it'll die off a little bit, and people will learn the matchup as well. You got to think there's a learning curve to anybody who doesn't play Salamander. It's learning to play against it. You learn how to do that better and better. So people only had a week, at least TCG wise, to get ready to play this deck, and then they were kind of thrown into the fire, pun intended, during this YCS to just take on probably half of your Swiss duels were probably against Salamangreats. So there's definitely something to say here. I do think Salamangreats will regress a little bit. We'll see how much. I would love to see, like, if we're looking at, let's say, a top 32, generally for most YCSs, we'll assume it's top 32. I would love to see something where it's like 6 or 7 Salamangreats, 6 or 7 Thunder Dragons, 6 or 7 Strikers, and then the rest are just bloop, bloop, bloop. The last 15 slots of your top cut is just a bunch of 1-ofs, maybe 2-of decks. Like you see Subterrors, you see Guard Dragons, you see Orcus, Draco, Lunalight, Trickstar, Altergeist, Paleos, BA, whatever. I think that would be so awesome, but I wouldn't be too scared about Salamangreats. I think they will regress for sure. Guys, let me know what you think about YCS Dusseldorf, and I think this is just awesome. I think our competitive scene is just so good right now. We've got a ban list coming up to fix any potential problems. There's nothing crazy, but maybe we'll see some caps on if Salamangreats keeps up this kind of representation and dominance. We could definitely see them get a cap. Maybe they hit their Rhoda, maybe they, for consistency, maybe they hit Gazelle to hit the grind game, something like that. I don't know. Maybe they hit Sunlight Wolf. That'd be tough. If they hit Sunlight Wolf to like 1, it's gonna be tough for the deck to play. But yeah, guys, let me know what you think about this YCS in general. I think it's really encouraging, and I love that our format is still looking clean. Awesome. So I'm going to get the hell out of here, guys. Thank you so much for listening to me talk about these YCS results here. And sub if you haven't to the channel, because I'm making videos 5 to 7 times a week, somewhere in there. I'm trying. Oh, God. Bye.